Hi everyone, I'm Adrienne, and I'm thrilled to be here today to share with you my favorite myofascial release techniques to refresh the lower body. So maybe you just got done with a really hard workout, you're looking for some post-race or post-competition recovery, you're an athlete, or you spend long hours sitting, whether it be at a desk, in the car, at home, whatever it may be. This work's going to be really great to give our whole body a refresh. So we will need some tools today. You'll need 2 yoga blocks. Just one is fine, but if you don't have a block, foam rollers work great, as do yoga bolsters. Then you'll need 2 of the same size lacrosse or tennis balls. Bonus if you have massage balls, they're just a little softer and stickier. Any of these things will work really well. So I'll offer up modifications as we move through. We'll start standing on our feet. So come up to stand. We'll be placing the right foot on just one of your myofascial release balls, and then leaning your weight into the center of the foot, looking for some tenderness here to work with. You might feel a little more tenderness on the inner arch or the outer arch. Really, anywhere in here is good. Just start the process of investigating how you feel and how your body reacts to the sensation. Place the heel on the floor. The ball will be under the base of the toes, and you'll rock your right foot side to side. So you're finding a little internal and external rotation here in your right hip. You're leaning in with some medium consistent pressure. And then we'll take the ball just underneath the heel, slightly above. With the toes on the floor, you're rocking your heel from side to side. Maybe noticing some speed bumps, a little bit of tenderness as you pass through these hard-working tissues. Our feet do so much for us. We often forget how much they need this recovery work. Then we'll roll in one direction. So starting with the toes, roll to the heel, kick the ball back, and roll. Try to hit the inner arch and the outer arch. You might be even feeling some referral sensation up the leg, into the ankle a bit. Give it one more pass. It's okay if your ball rolls away from you. You might have to chase after it. That happens to me quite often. And then staying on the left leg, you'll draw some small circles with light pressure on the ball. And that's going to boost your lymphatic system to flush any toxins out and keep that hydration and circulation going in the body. Now just stand with both feet on the floor before we move into the second side. I want you to notice what feels different from the side that we just worked to your left side. For me, I'm feeling a little more warmth through the right. It feels a little more full, a little more awake. We'll balance it out by taking the ball underneath the left foot and starting again with that medium consistent pressure as we lean forward into the middle of the arch. With the heel on the floor, you'll rock the top of the foot from side to side, mobilizing the hard-working joints of our feet. Just let your arms relax. Take the ball underneath the heel and rock your heel from side to side. And with that medium, consistent pressure, Then rolling in one direction from the toes to the heel, kick the ball back. If you can, find the inner arch, the outer arch. Get some rolling sensation in there. Give it another pass or so. And then really light pressure. Draw some circles. Try to get the entire bottom of the foot. Then bring your left foot to the floor, stand tall, just noticing if you feel a little more balanced, right to left. Maybe feeling those sensations now creep into the left side, working its way up the leg. This is not only helping the areas of the body that we're specifically working, but it's gonna feed into the entire body. Let's take a seat on the floor. You can sit up on a block if you need to. You can set the balls aside for a moment because we're gonna be working into a little bit of a self-massage to get into the calves. So I'm gonna start with my right leg. Make a lobster claw with your right hand. So the fingers are close together. Your thumb's gonna be separate, and you're just gonna work up and down the right leg, squeezing your calf muscle. So I'm really trying to find some compression as I squeeze with my thumb up and down the calf. So I tend to feel a lot here, at least I'm feeling a lot today in the middle section, a little less intensity as I move closer to my ankle, a little less sensation as I move towards my knee. But lots of sensation right there in the middle. Give yourself just one more pass, whether you're moving up or down the leg. And then we're gonna look to the medial edge of the shin bone, right in here. So I'm gonna take my left hand, my fingers are going to be right where the bone falls off. So right in here, I'm gonna walk my fingers up and down the length of my inner shin. Again, right in the middle is where I'm feeling a lot more sensation. You can use that lobster claw again just to really get in there, investigate, notice where you're feeling things ignite and turn on. Less is more with this work, so you don't need to spend a whole lot of time on each area of the body. 30 to 60 seconds is plenty. And then recovery time. So just take your hands behind your back. You can just let your shoulders shrug up towards the ears and maybe just rock your legs in and out a couple times. And just notice the change that is taking place in your body. If you have issues with your knees, you might even notice a little more fullness around the knees here after this work. Let's move it into the other side. So with the left leg, we're gonna work here. Make your lobster claw with your left hand. We're gonna work right in here in the left calf. So just squeezing the belly of that muscle all the way up and down the lower leg. Turn this way so you can see me a little bit better. Now, if it hurts as you're pressing, back off a little bit on the intensity. If you're not feeling anything, if you've got a little bit more compression, go ahead and use that. You shouldn't feel sore after myofascial release. If you are, you might be going a little too deep, doing it too often, or staying for too long. So you should be able to do this a few times a week. 30 minutes is all you need per time, maybe even less. If you're just looking to work a few areas of the body. Good. Now let's work on the inner shin here. So find your shin bone. With your right fingers, you're going to walk yourself towards the calf. So right where you fall off the bone, that's going to be where we want to be working. Up and down the leg, just following that towards the ankle. Back up towards the knee. If you find a place that's helpful, you might hang out and just stay. Breathe. And then extend your legs and just let yourself lean back into your hands and notice what you feel. You might feel just an overall sense of relaxation. This type of work is great to downregulate the nervous system. And the effects of this is immediate. That's why I love it. You can just feel that flush when you stop working. Next, we're going to get into the perineals. So we're going to be working on the outer area of the shin here. Just this top section, this is all going to be fair game right here. So you'll need one of your lacrosse balls or massage balls. You can come to sit in a 90-90-ish position. You'll take the ball in that area. Hands can be used for support. You'll start sitting up tall. The more you start to lean forward, the more you're going to feel because you're adding compression down onto the ball. Start to roll around a little bit and investigate. Find a good tender spot in there to work with. If you want to add a little more compression, you can lean your right forearm onto your leg. That definitely intensifies it for me today. And there you might continue to roll around just a little bit. Your legs will thank you for this work when you're done. And just stay for another couple breaths. Around 30 seconds or so. Let's go to the other side. So left side, take the ball in this area right here, just lateral to the shin bone. Bend your left knee. And then just start to investigate. You might feel something completely different on that side. It's normal to feel different from side to side when you're doing this work. And you might lean forward. Add some pressure from your forearm if you need that. This is intense for me, but the left side's a little less intense than the right. Stay with it just another couple breaths. Release. Just stand on my shins just to demonstrate where we're going next. So find your hips. When you bring your fingers around to the front of your hips, you might be noticing a bony protrusion here. We're going to go just medial to that bony protrusion, right to the inside of the ASIS. We're going to work into our iliacus, which helps with hip flexion. So if you're someone who's doing a lot of running, sprinting, biking, or even walking, this is going to probably be quite tight on you. So we're going to work to find a little recovery into this area. So let's lower onto the belly. The balls will be right to the inside of those bony protrusions. So come down onto your belly and you can just shift a hip up side to side just to place the ball right where you need it to be. Just let your legs extend and be heavy. Now you might be comfortable here just hanging out on your forearms. If you are more comfortable stacking your forearms and dropping your head, I invite you to go there. So whichever shape gives you more relief, that's where I want you to head. So breathe into the sensation that you're feeling. Again, this should not be painful. You shouldn't be clenching your teeth. If you are, find another place to work into. It can be close by to where you are right now. And just let yourself soften into that place. Just taking a few slow, deep breaths to settle in, to explore the sensation. From here, we'll be moving into our quads. So if you know that your quads are pretty tender, like mine are, you may opt to move to tennis balls. Otherwise, if you have multiple lacrosse balls, you can place 2 lacrosse balls side by side on both sides, or just work with 1 on each side. So if you're all the way down, you can prop yourself up onto your forearms and you'll just be moving the balls down a little bit lower to the upper part of your quads, the fronts of your thighs, curling the toes under here. And you might just slowly start to rock the legs from side to side. The quads for me tend to be one of the most sensitive areas of my body. So this work has been really beneficial just to work into some of this tenderness and offer some additional hydration and healing. You might explore bending and straightening 1 leg at a time. I'm not feeling it so much where we're working right now, but as we start to move a little bit lower in the quads, you might really start to notice the intensity tick up a bit. So let's move it a little bit lower. So you're likely on the middle section of the quad. And again, you might just rock the legs from side to side. Maybe 1 leg at a time, you're bending the knee and extending the leg again. Maybe holding it in stillness and just notice what you're feeling. We're going to come down just a little bit lower. So you could just slowly inch your way forward. And you might be close to the knee. We just want to stay off of the knee joint itself, the knee bone itself. I'm going to take these just a bit lower. There we go. And just support yourself here. Again, maybe rocking yourself from side to side. I'm resting on my belly, my pelvis down on the floor. And you might explore bending one knee at a time, getting some of that cross-fibering action, moving into the deeper layers of the quadriceps. You can hear the space being created in my body today. So if you have knee issues, this might be a really good one for you. Again, just work with your own range of motion, but really good for the health and integrity of our tissues in the lower body. We stay with it for another breath or so. And then remove the balls out from underneath you. And maybe just rest here on your belly for a moment. You can stack your forearms and just drop the weight of your head. And just let your body sink into the floor. Maybe feeling a flushing action move down the legs. Take a few deep breaths. Next, we'll be working into the adductors. So 2 blocks will be really helpful here. 1 block will serve as a pillow, or you can use a bolster or foam roller. And the other block will be using to prop the ball up for the leg that we're working. So I'm going to start by rolling onto my right side. Just move my microphone out of the way. Taking my head onto the block on its middle height. My right leg will be extended and then bending the left knee. We'll be working on the inseam of the inner left leg. So starting close to the knee, just a few inches below, and working in this section right here. So this will all be fair game. So taking the ball to the block, just a few inches below the knee. So here you can just start to roll around a little bit until you find something interesting, and then just settle and relax. I find that the closer I am to the knee, the more intense sensation I'll feel. You're looking for that hurt so good sensation, that point where you know you've landed on something interesting, but it's not painful. You can relax into it. We're going to continue moving up the leg just a bit. So maybe a few inches towards the middle of the adductor. I'm going to shift the orientation of the block just so I can lean forward a little bit to get into that compression. If it's too much, you can just lean your weight back. Again, you can roll, investigate. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, just let the areas of the body that you're not working, let them relax. Then we'll take this up closer to the groin, a couple inches higher. You'll notice as I lean forward, my left knee is coming pretty close to the floor. You might look completely different, and that's okay. So you shouldn't be experiencing any pain or any shooting sensations anywhere in your body. You're finding a place that you can just breathe and relax into, feeling heavy. Let's move it into the other side. So we'll sit up. I'm going to move my blocks so I can continue to face you. Roll onto the left side. Take the block underneath the head. Extend the left leg. Ball and block underneath the right knee. And start the process of exploring. There's a tender spot right there. I'm going to land right on it. And just do what I can to relax instead of fighting it. Relax. If you need to move to somewhere that's a little less intense, make your way there. And we'll move up a bit, just a few inches. And you can roll and explore, trying to keep the work on the inseam of the leg. We'll go up just a little bit more. You might need to move the left leg out of the way a little bit. And then just work a little bit higher in the adductors. Next, we'll come onto our back. We've got two more shapes to find. I'll be coming onto my back with the blocks close by. We're gonna stretch into our psoas next, the hip flexors. So we'll start with one block. Lift the hips up. This might be plenty, placing the block underneath the pelvis. You want a little bit of a deeper stretch. Stack two blocks here, one on top of the other. Get yourself comfortable here. Then from there, your left leg can stretch long, and you'll gently start to bring the right knee into the chest. So we're looking just to passively stretch the front of the left hip, the left hip flexor. You might need to adjust a few times until you feel comfortable or supported. Like I said, if this is a little too much, one block might be plenty, or a foam roller, or even a yoga bolster will work. So consciously trying to relax this area we're looking to stretch right here. So if you do a lot of forward movement, running, cycling, biking, this is probably a pretty restricted area. So just give it a chance to relax. And then we'll place the right foot on the floor, bend the left knee. If you need to adjust, go ahead and adjust. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So the right leg is long. Maybe explore bringing the left knee into the chest. Feel a lot more tightness on this side. So just notice what you're feeling in your body. The right leg doesn't have to be fully extended. You're just trying to bring the heel down for support. Over time, as you start to open up this area of the body, you might find that you've got more range of motion. Give yourself just another couple breaths. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Press into the feet. You're going to slide the blocks out from underneath you. We won't be needing them anymore. Last thing, we'll need our myofascial release balls. Come onto your back. Let's get into the glutes. So with the knees bent, lift the hips to the sky and slide the massage balls in the center of each glute. Once you have them in place, lower yourself onto the massage balls, and this might be plenty. You want a little more sensation, you might start to butterfly the knees open. So now getting into the hip rotators, the external rotators. You can stay with that if that's helpful, or you can start to lift the right side of your pelvis up as you slide to the right and then the left. So now we're doing some cross-fibering across these really strong muscles and tissues in our glutes. This is one of my favorites. And you can reach down and adjust where the balls land. Sometimes they want to start to slide out away from you, so you might just need to readjust a few times. You might take the balls a little bit higher or lower. Another option here is to take the right ankle over the left thigh. Get into the piriformis as you roll yourself a little bit from side to side. I'm almost getting more into my outer hip area, but just being mindful not to roll over bone, directly on bone. You want to avoid that. Give it another 2 or 3 breaths on this side. And then we'll pivot and shift to the other side. So maybe the left ankle is on top of the right thigh. And you just slowly start to strum over these really hard working tissues through the left hip and the left glute. Continue to breathe, especially when things get to be a bit intense. And if your ankle's on top of the thigh, lower the foot down, lift the hips, slide the balls out of the way, and take a few moments in stillness. Your legs can extend or your knees can stay bent. And just notice if you feel maybe a bit of relief into your low back. I almost feel a sense of relief move up into my shoulders. That's a reminder that our fascia is all connected, and that referral sensation might just be your entire body here relaxing. Just taking a few breaths wherever you have landed. Maybe closing your eyes, noticing the impacts of this work, the immediate sensation, hopefully feeling a sense of release and relief throughout your body. Stay for as long as you have time for here in your restful state. Continue to come back to this work anytime you're looking for a lower body refresh. It was great to spend some time with you today. I look forward to seeing you again on the mat soon. And until then, namaste.